Thanks, guys. The NHL All-Star Game took place last weekend in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. And although I'm sure we all wish we were watching these All-Stars battle it out in Beijing like we had hoped, it was still exciting to see these All-Stars put their skills on display. For the first time ever, the Las Vegas Golden Knights hosted NHL's biggest stars and thousands of fans for an unforgettable weekend. Now, before we get into the details of what happened this weekend, I wanted to get the scoop from somebody who was actually there. So we're going to talk with TSN BarDown's Luca Celebre, who was there all weekend. Luca, how exciting was it to be in Vegas for the 2022 NHL All-Star Game?
It was incredibly exciting, Alex. There were tons of hockey fans, and it's really the best weekend in hockey as far as bringing all the stars together, having a good time, and you felt that with the Vegas atmosphere all weekend long.
Can you speak a little bit to that atmosphere? Was Vegas a good host?
They were an incredible host. I feel like Vegas should do it every year just because they bring so many people into this city every year. And I feel like it's a great way for the NHL to just showcase the best players each and every year to maybe a crowd of hockey fans that hasn't watched the game a lot or is looking for a new sport to kind of try out and cheer for. I also think the players had a great time. Every player that I spoke to just loved the fact that they were in Vegas. They also party and like to have a good time. And so I think that's part of the appeal of coming to Vegas. And I think that also helps in player participation because we see sometimes players just want to skip out on the weekend, go for a vacation, go with their families, get away from it all, which is totally fair. But if it's in Vegas, they might change their mind on that.
And what are some of your most memorable moments from this weekend?
Obviously, me as an Avalanche fan, the most memorable moment I had was meeting Cale Makar and Nazem Kadri. They are both incredible people first and foremost, but incredible hockey players as well. And that's just a dream come true for me. Got to take a couple of pictures with them, and just everything we did with the players was a lot of fun. They really are relaxed and just more laid back this weekend, I think, than they normally would be because they're in Vegas. It's All-Star weekend. It's supposed to be a fun time, and we like to do some fun and incredibly just wacky content. So they were really digging that, and it was a lot of fun to see.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy that you had a great time. Thank you so much for your time today. Take care.
Thank you.
So let's get into some highlights from this year's skills competition. That was full of Las Vegas magic. Starting with fastest skater. Now, I think the biggest story to come out of this one was whether or not Connor McDavid was going to be able to take his title back after being dethroned by Matthew Barzal in 2020. While McDavid put on an impressive performance, as he always does, Toronto's own Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues ended up taking the prize on this one. Next up, let's talk about the return of one of my favorite competitions, the Breakaway Challenge. Now, what I love about this one is getting to see the sillier side of some of these all-star players. This year, we saw the Wild's Kirill Kaprizov honor Alex Ovechkin, who of course was supposed to be in the competition, but had to sit out due to COVID protocol. The Ducks' Trevor Zegras pay homage to the movie Dodgeball and even get blindfolded for his shot. The Devils' Jack Hughes put on a bit of a magic show. Blackhawks' Alex DeBrincat bring in some buddies for a hangover-themed shot. And last but not least, Vegas' own, but really King City's own, Alex Pietrangelo, who ultimately took the cake for his Vegas-inspired performance. Now, the biggest headline to come out of this competition? Trevor Zegras was robbed. That's it. He was robbed. Lastly, let's talk about the save streak, which I think could easily be the most difficult competition of all because these goalies hardly have any time to warm up. This year, we saw division rivals team up and make saves on both ends of the ice. The Central Division had UC Saros and Cam Talbot on a streak of 5, the Pacific Division with Thatcher Demko and John Gibson on a streak of 3, the Metropolitan Division with Frederik Andersen and Tristan Jarry on a streak of 2, and of course the Atlantic Division's Jack Campbell and Andrei Vasilevsky took the prize with an impressive streak of 9. Listen, I could talk about Jack Campbell all day, so let's move on to some highlights from the 3-on-3 All-Star games. First up, the Metropolitan Division beat the Pacific Division 6-4 in the first game. Following them, the Central Division overtook the Atlantic Division 8-5, leading to an NHL All-Star Final between the Metro and the Central, where the Central lost to the Metro 5-3, allowing the Metropolitan Division to take home that $1 million prize. Now, a lot of people were making jokes about Claude Giroux and how it just looked like he was out there auditioning for a future trade as that deadline quickly approaches. And honestly, he looked good out there. He put on quite a show. He's proved that he has more than still got it. And he ended up taking home this year's MVP. Some other honorable mentions from that final All-Star game. Jack Hughes absolutely lit up the ice. That kid was on fire. You could tell he was so excited to be there. And goaltenders Frederik Andersen and Tristan Jarry also putting on stellar performances. That's all I've got for my recap of the 2022 NHL All-Star Game. Now we head back to the regular season, and I will send it back to Hayden and Matt.